we're gonna call this meeting to order at 7:34 p.m. And Bill, do you want to lead us in the pledge of allegiance?
I will.
All right.
Already standing.
Yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I know, isn't it the best?
Roll call. Supervisor Crowner is.
Here via Zoom.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, Michael. Trustee Tyson is absent. Trustee Goyak? Here. Trustee Klein? Here. Trustee Mueller?
Here.
Assessor Durrell? Here. Highway Commissioner Benton? Absent. Tax Collector Jim Kopchak? Here. And Clerk here.
All right, thank you, everyone. I apologize for not being able to be there in person today. Just so you all know, the meeting is a good meeting to move forward because we do have an in-person quorum of 3 members of the Board of Trustees present. So we're all good on that end. First item on the agenda, or I'm sorry, rather, next item on the agenda is for public comment. Do we have anybody here for public comment? Going once, going twice, hearing none. Moving on to the approval of minutes. So I'm actually, okay, so if we look at each of these minutes, funny enough, I think in each minute here, somebody was probably absent. And then for the 3 in-person voting, I don't know that we would technically have 3 affirmative votes in person for any of these items. So unfortunately, once again, we're gonna have to table our meeting minutes to the February board meeting. So with that being said, I am going to motion to table the approval of all meeting minutes to the February board meeting. Can I get a second, please?
So move.
All right, so
Second.
all right, so can we do a roll call, please?
All right, roll call. Supervisor Crowner.
Yes.
Trustees, Tyson's absent. Trustee Klein.
Yes.
Trustee Goyak.
Yes.
And. Motion passes.
Mueller.
Yes.
Mueller, I guess, yeah. She
There
can.
we go. All right, thank you. Next item, we have the assessor's budget presentation. So open the floor to Assessor Bruce Dorado, our new assessor as of January 1.
Thanks, Mike. I'm sorry, Michael, do we have to do that for all 3 or just,
So my motion, I motion to move all of the approval of all meeting minutes to February.
Okay, gotcha. I didn't catch that. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you. Bruce, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Yeah, so obviously I'm new. I think I've met everyone. I'm not sure I met you. You look familiar.
Pleasure meeting you.
Nice to meet you. I got sworn in on Monday, and Wednesday I had a meeting with my staff and we were kind of talking through some things. And I thought what I'd do was just kind of, again, being new, I don't know what the normal procedure is, and what I wanted to do is identify kind of the biggest issues we have in the office right now. And everybody on the staff agreed is not having a field agent. We're at a serious disadvantage not having a field agent. And I know that's come up before, but what I asked the staff to do is, can we quantify this? Can we explain it a little bit better? Because even though I'm an assessor, even I didn't fully understand exactly the effect that has on the office. So if you guys don't mind indulging me, I had Brandy write this up and she wrote it so well, I'm just gonna read it to you. Currently, new construction assessments are reflected on the tax rolls only through December 31st of 24. With very few exceptions, homes that became occupied in 25 have not yet been assessed, and the majority have not even received an initial field visit. Given the rapid pace of development within the township and our ongoing shortage of field staff, the assessment office is now significantly behind. Based on sales currently entered into our system through July of 25, there are approximately 350 homes that must be measured and assessed. In addition to any properties that closed between August and December of 25, this places the total closer to 400 homes that must be measured, entered, and assessed by June 11th of 2026. Compounding this issue, the supervisor of assessments office shortened the deadline this year, requiring that any prior year assessments must be added by the June 11th, 26 cutoff. These added assessments will no longer be allowed to be added in August through October like they were in the past, which gave us more time to get them on the books. If these properties are not placed on the 2026 assessment books by that date, they will not receive a tax bill for the building portion in 2027. Instead, affected homeowners will receive a tax bill in 2028 that includes the 2027 land and building assessment, the full 2026 building assessment, and the prorated 2025 building assessment based on the occupancy date. This will result in an exceptionally large and unexpected tax bill for many residents. In addition, so the way I understand it is, let's say you bought a home in 25. We didn't get a chance to measure yet. There's only a land assessment. There's no building assessment. Now, people could be operating fat, dumb, and happy. They
Right,
shouldn't be doing that, but
no.
they're not getting a
but They are
bill.
usually.
And then it comes in 2027 and they got 3 years of bills that they gotta pay in two installments. So
Yeah. That's.
in addition to the residential homes needing assessments, we also need field staff to measure any home improvements that we receive permits for. So that'd be like patios, decks, and pools, that kind of stuff. Currently, there are 250 home improvements that need a field visit, assessment, and home improvement exemption granted for the 2026 assessment year. Again, the deadline is by June 11th. This situation presents a significant risk, not only to homeowners who will face substantial financial burden, but also to the township in terms of public trust, complaints, and appeals. So the importance of a full-time experienced field agent is so important and needed, along with some part-timers to help get everything caught up. So I know the budget's tight, and I know there was an attempt to try to increase the budget last year. Currently, we're at 300,000. I asked Mark Dahlberg, the accountant, to run the numbers for me, what I asked him to do. So right now, Amber, Randy, and Jan make 37.74 per hour. So I think the way that works, it's 24 pay periods times 86.67, whatever that turns out to be. I think that ends up being over here somewhere about 77,000 a year. And then Isabel makes 22.44. Actually, they're not quite making that yet. This is including a 2% increase if we give them a 2%, which cost of living is 2.8, so 2% is pretty conservative. But that being said, I figured, well, with a new agent, we'd start them somewhere around the same place Isabel is at. And when he ran that number, the payroll amount is $339,000. Everything else we would keep the same. I don't see any reason to change any of these other items that are on the budget, and I can pass this around, but it's the same budget you guys have seen every year. The only thing that's really changing here is the payroll expenses. I even had Randy put together a field agent job description, so we can actually, if this were to get approved, we could actually do a real job search. I'm not sure how much time Mary had to do that or how much energy. I don't know. I wasn't here, obviously. So being the new guy, I'm just trying to fix some problems that need to be fixed and serve our township better, because I can't imagine if we've got 400 people with no tax bills and they're gonna be storming the office, they're gonna be hating all of us. That's what I got.
Thank you, Bruce. I feel for you. I understand you're coming into a pretty difficult situation with that. Disappointing to hear, unfortunately, as far as where that stands, and just want to clarify, by no means obviously put any of that on you, given that you just walked in. I know when we passed the budget last year, the budget, allowed for pay increases for the full staff and also for a full-time field agent. And at that time, the assessor basically independently decided against hiring that full-time field agent and decided to reallocate those salaries in a completely different way. So now that leaves us all to try to figure out how to clean that mess up. And so, I know you and I will have a follow-up discussion to figure out, how we make this work from a budget perspective, how we make sure that the staff is able to get caught up for new construction. But again, just want to reiterate that, again, not putting this on Bruce by any means, but the board did pass a fully funded budget last year. a budget that would have still already put our staff at leading rates within the county for their positions and accommodated the hiring of a full-time field agent, but the previous assessor decided to go in a different direction and over allocate salaries in a way that was not the intention of the board. And so that resulted in, unfortunately, the field program being left in the dust for some time. So I just want to make sure that's reflected on here because we had this full discussion last year. And I know the board passed a sound budget for the assessor last year to do what was appropriate for our community. And the previous assessor simply decided to disregard that. So I know that means you and I, Bruce, are going to have to fix it. I look forward to working with you and trying to come to a solution here and making sure that we do what we got to do to avoid a double taxation year on our residents, because I know that'll upset a lot of people and it's not fair to the residents, something that was completely out of their control. So
Appreciate that, Michael. I just want to remind you, you know, if at all possible, you know, we got until June 11th, which sounds like a long way away, but it really isn't. So the sooner the better.
no, I'm aware. And what that means is, I don't know if you're aware, Bruce, but the new fiscal year actually starts on April 1, right? So in reality, we have to start planning for that catch up even before the new fiscal year starts. So that's where I'll talk to you about what discretion we have within the budget for moving around underspent line items so that you could potentially get further caught up this fiscal year, moving on it sooner rather than later.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Any comments or questions for Bruce? All right,
Thank
if
you.
you wouldn't mind, if you could please share a copy of that digitally to the board so that we can review it.
Which one, Michael?
Your budget, the proposed budget.
Oh, so I had Mark put that together, doesn't he? Again, I'm new. I thought you guys all got that.
Oh
But I'm
no, it's
happy
all right. So
I'm
yeah, if
happy
you
to.
wouldn't mind just sharing it, not a problem. He did, I think he shared just our bills. I don't know that I mean, I could have missed it, and if I did, I apologize. I did not personally see him send over that proposed budget.
Okay, I'll send it.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you. Anything else for the new assessor before we move on? All right, hearing none. Thank you, Bruce. I appreciate the presentation, and I'll connect with you soon so that we can figure this out.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Moving on, next item on the agenda, I think, is the approval of bills and claims. Can I get a motion to approve the bills?
So moved. Second.
All right, thank you. Any questions, comments, or concerns regarding the bills?
Michael, I had a question. This is Jim. I know that it's not for me to vote on, but I did not see any detailed items in here on the cemetery. I noticed there was some markings about some funds that were spent last month, but the funds that I normally saw in the past where you had a detailed breakout are not in this. Is that, I don't know if that's normally on my.
Just bear with me one moment. Let me pull it up back on my end, and I'll let you know exactly. Did anybody else see bills for the cemetery in their packets that were provided by Mark?
I don't think I did.
Okay, let's get there.
And there's no mention of the fund later on in the detailed expenditure, so that's.
Sorry, just give me one moment to pull it back up. It closed up my screen.
Oh, you see it? Yeah, that's all we're looking for.
Oh, okay, well, that's
Oh,
all.
that on the back of the page?
Yeah, okay, so it's the third page in.
Yeah.
I think it's-
Oh, never mind, I see it.
Okay, so it is included there. I was gonna say, because I feel like I would have picked up on that before and I didn't
Yeah, no, I
notice it.
see the detail, I just didn't see the fund, the summaries, but okay, I got
Okay.
it.
So we're all good on there?
Yep.
Okay, any questions from the trustees regarding the bills? All right, hearing none, can we move on to a roll call, please, Terry?
Yes.
It's important.
Supervisor Crowner,
Yes.
trustee Klein,
Yes.
trustee Goya,
Yes,
trustee Miller,
Yes.
passes.
All right, thank you all. Moving on to board reports.
You're up there.
I am. I'm just pass. You can take one and pass it along. I'll explain what you're looking at. It's pretty self-explanatory, but it's some good, very nice, good information.
Wow, so good.
Huh? This is the first report of our passport program. We actually were approved on, as I've said before, we were approved on December 12th. December 22nd is the first day we actually started taking passport applications, I should say. And we did from the 22nd through the end, through 1/8, we've done 19 total passports. We get paid $35 each for them. Is $665. That goes right into our coffer. We've done 14 total pictures at $15 each, which is $210. Out of our $35, we have to pay for the postage to mail them to the passport agency. So we've spent 8 packages at $11.90 each, so a negative of $95.20. So for 17 days, we have generated income directly to us of $779.80.
Well done.
Good job.
That's great.
I know Michael had saw that today, and he was counting in his head, and I know he was a big smile when he figured out what the year would bring.
There's a good reason for you.
And
Right?
obviously months, I looked at a couple other things I had, and obviously there are months where passports will slow down. But then again, they'll ramp up right before kids get out of school. And again, right before Christmas and Thanksgiving and stuff, where middle of the year, it slows down as one just adults and they don't have the summer plans or the winter plans. So this is Michael, you have any idea what you're gonna do with all this money?
Not yet. I think it might help pay for some new field staff.
Exactly.
Right.
So,
Chunk out of that salary.
it's something that anyway, it's I've kind of fallen right back into it the way it was at Lyle. I was a little scared of being away from it for 3 years, but once you're in front of it, it really hasn't changed any. So the only issue, I know we've talked to Michael about possibility of a postage meter. But that would be shared by all departments, and obviously as you use it, you just, mark it down that you used to. Whatever, and so that would be, that's just kind of instead of having to actually take a credit card over and pay at the pump kind of thing, so, because we do still have to take it to the post office and we mail it there, but I don't even have to go to the front, so you can use the self machine and whatever. Other than that, I will move on. I don't really have anything else specific that is really great news. We're just we're doing things around the building. I'm thrilled to death that it's January. But we are trying to help Jim. I know Mr. Patterson was here today, and we're going through more and more and trying to make sure everything is up to snuff, so he's not, searching for something and then trying to ask me, because it's like, I'm thrilled he's starting. But I think he's gonna find out that we've done a lot, and then we're good, we should be in pretty good shape. Any questions for me or anything? Nope. Done. Cool. I'm done.
I think the only thing I'll point and add to that is that we've already got 19 passport applications, and I think the only publication about this has been on Nextdoor. So I think once we start more widely publicizing it, I think the opportunity for additional income into the township is can be pretty meaningful. And then not only with that program, but as you all know, now we have access to the handicap placards that we can offer to the community as well. So and not only does it bring in income, but I think it's just going to continue to bring exposure to the township so that people understand who we are and what we can potentially do for the community. So excited for this. I'm excited that it's gotten off to a good start, Bill, and I only seeing it to continue to increase from here. So I hope we have enough film on hand for the photos.
Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely. We are on the federal website, so if you do go on to the passport agency itself, we are listed there as an agency.
Anything over the library, 95th Street Library yet, or? Post anything that's over the library in the book, I mean. Haven't, that'll.
Good idea.
All right. Thank you. Any questions for Bill before we move on?
Good
All right.
Good job, Bill.
Next up, we have Assessor Dorada. You want to give us the tons of things that have happened in your few days in office?
My whole week on the job, yeah, I put most of my effort, obviously, into this budget thing. What typically do you guys want to hear in the assessor report? I haven't seen any of Mary's reports, so I don't know what she would typically. Just talk about the number of permits they work on and things like that.
I'm also new, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean.
So I
generally-
think that's honestly, it's at your discretion, whatever you think is appropriate. I think historically, it's been, if we're going into a particular season, it's to notify the board so that we can also notify the public, for example, if it's appeal season, if bills are on the way, if you want to give any updates with regards to some data. So like we'd love to hear obviously how we're doing on the progress towards that June 11th deadline as we're getting to that. But otherwise, it's generally at your discretion what you'd like to provide.
Okay, appreciate that. Well, at this moment, I don't have a report.
All right, thank you. And then on the next one, I got to apologize to Mr. Kopchak. I did put the wrong name on the agenda. So I will say turn over the reports for our newly sworn in tax collector, Jim Kopchak.
Thank you, Michael. Yes, been waiting. So Bruce and I figured out that the most important job of the township must be the assessor and the tax collector, since the gestation period is like 9 months to make office as opposed to everyone else. So we're eager to get started. I wanted to go on the record. This has been kind of a frustrating period of time, as Bill will attest to, as we've tried to fill in the backfill with the loss of the one tax collector that we had resigned at the end of September, as you well know, and then the interim tax collector we had for another month. So we had people that are on the committee, namely Laura Hoffman and Rich Brahman, who made sure everything continued to operate normally at the cemetery. I think that was great. So I think there was a certain amount of assurance everyone had that the families were being taken care of. And of course, I want to thank Bill and Carolyn both for their jumping in a lot of different and difficult ways and times to make sure again that we were able to sustain ourselves for the ensuing months. That was great. All that being said, the turnover for the position was a little bit rough. As I understood it, a cardboard box was delivered to the front desk and kind of dropped off, and that was the summation of the turnover. When I inspected the cardboard box, I found a huge manila folder with about 4 years worth of receipts, which would be the actual agreements and things. And the folder is marked to be filed, and that was it. And so clearly, the record keeping was not what I would consider to be in a fit position. So all that aside, I wanted to thank Ben Peterson, who was a former tax collector here, is a kind of a semi-neighbor for me and has been assisting, and he gave me a great deal of background and help on moving forward and answering questions. And without him, I think the transition would have been far more difficult. That being said, we've done quite a bit even prior to taking office. So I have completely rebuilt the entire database for the cemetery. I've taken some work that Bill put together, took the official Illinois database, and now we have a completely digitized version. The database is only built in Excel right now, but it's far greater than what we had. It was all color coded, so we can help families instantly identify where there are open places for them to require things in the proper positions, of course. We've completely rebuilt all the maps when I brought some samples of them. So again, some of the problems that Bill had and others was identifying where are the grave sites that people can actually choose that are for sale, those that are sold. Our biggest fear, of course, being that we're going to sell a property that has already been sold because of poor record keeping, or that will attempt to mark and measure for burial, where, so all that being aside, a lot of work was being done on that. And then finally, I've rewritten an entire accounting system for us for invoices, burial agreements, deeds and the like, because what we had, and I need to show this to you, because it was hard for me to believe what we had to work with. See if I can find the copy. Was so outdated, and they were using carbon copies in the field to try to give to people as forms of agreements. And so, of course, now I can't find it.
You've been very busy, Jim.
Yeah, so what the summation of all that is, what I'm trying to say is I feel much more confident today than I did when Bill and I first thought that we have the record keeping in place, we have processes and procedures in place that we're gonna be able to march forward. So I thought that was important. I think you all know how valuable the cemetery is to the township. I know that you haven't had a lot of representation here at the meetings from the representatives for the cemetery, so I hope that you'll hear more about some of the good things that we're trying to do. That's it. I try to summarize it quickly, never bore you, but I think I'm feeling pretty good about it going forward. Thank you.
You didn't bore us to death, I swear.
No,
Thanks, I'm feeling pretty good about it.
well, in that case, I can tell you that we have 6.5 acres, 3.5 that are being used, and because we have the database now, I know that we have about 900 bodies that are actually interred at our cemetery now, with about 1,700 plus burial sites that we've currently identified. So we have
So we
some
have
work.
1,700 more?
No, we have total of 1,700.
Oh, I understand.
And it's all proximate because, again, the idea that we can sometimes have more than one burial in a grave due to the cremains as opposed to standard burials. I'm learning all sorts of things that I never knew that I was going to learn about cemeteries before, but it's all been kind of interesting. And it's historic cemeteries, 200 years old. Ought to be fun. But that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Quick question for you, Jim. How many current board members do you have on your volunteer board? And then are you all seeking additional board members? Where do you guys stand?
Well, by law, we have a total of 3. Ben will be serving on the committee, and I believe Laura Hoffman will be our 3rd official member. You, sir, are by law, the treasurer for our committee, so you know that. But we accept and are looking for anyone that is willing to help. The major options for us to do are to obviously mark and measure when we have either an actual standard casket burial or when we're doing an inurement with the cremains. So those have to be done. And then for the inurements, we actually dig the hole. Sounds kind of crude, but we actually do that, and we don't farm that out. So yes, all seasons, all times, you never know who's gonna be where and when the call is gonna come in. So if you've got someone that's willing to give us their time, we obviously want to maintain the cemetery and not put a lot of burden on any one volunteer. And again, Laura and Rich have done a wonderful job of stepping up, but we're all getting older, and it's not like, we can't use the help. Yes, Bill.
Rich Grumman and Pat Peterson.
Ben Peterson?
They were always on the board as well as Laura, and you only named, you said.
Yeah, Rich is, we call it emeritus.
Okay.
He's not gonna be serving on the board. The board is actual voting members. But yeah, Laura and Ben right now.
Okay, so you are seeking potentially a 3rd board member.
No, we have I'm by the law, the president of that board, and we have.
Oh,
2
so you would
others.
serve as the 3rd required board member.
Right, sorry, yeah, and so
Okay.
that'll be and we will hold those meetings, again, those meetings haven't been held in, I don't believe, 4 years. And even though they're required to have, I thought it was 2 a year that you're required for, maybe at least 1. And there are, it's all spelled out in cemetery law, what you're supposed to do, and I don't believe it has been done, not that anyone has, you know, had a problem with it, but, take a
Okay.
look at a lot of those are the things that bother me. So, anyway, sorry, but yeah, that's, any more questions, any more advice? I'm, open.
I'm glad you're gonna meet, now, if the board hasn't been meeting at all,
Yeah.
that, you know, we need to be meeting the basic requirements, come
We
on.
have, decisions to make on whether or not to, well, one of the things, and Bill knows that I talked about this, and I actually entertained some bids from 3 different software companies for mapping, digital mapping software, and being able to automate this even more fully than what I've done. Because I think we need to have that moving into perpetuity as opposed to relying on the black books, literally, that are stored in a safe in Bill's office. They're kind of like you're looking at
Mhm.
the Holy Grail or something, as smoke and soot coming off them and pencil marks and.
Do they belong in a
erasers and things. Yeah,
historic-
this is not,
Hermetically
this is
sealed
not
room.
bringing us in the current century by any stretch. So. And IT is where I come from, so that's. Thank you.
Okay,
Deal?
thank you.
Yeah.
One point that I just want to bring up, for you. Jim, is we'll talk through some of your cemetery funds. And just making sure that we're getting the best interest rates we can on all of the accounts, so.
Yes.
We may have an
Yeah.
opportunity to continue to get some additional, interest, so we'll talk through that.
But yeah, that's another thought for the township board, they may not be aware of, but we have a professional care fund.
Yep.
That we can't spend money out of, money goes in there, but the money that gets generated in the fund, as interest, we are able to use as operating money. So how we divide up the revenue that we take in through either the sale of these lots or the burials themselves is all we have for the expenditures that we want to carry out for any improvements, over at the cemetery. So we need to look at this stuff. Michael's absolutely correct.
All right, thank you. Any final questions before we move on? All right, hearing none, I think the next one would be Harry. I don't believe I saw him submit a report. Did you see a report on your end, Terry?
I did not know.
Okay, so then we'll move on. Next up, trustee Matt Glowiak.
Hey, everybody. Honestly, I don't have quite that much to report from last month. It was a slower month, with the holidays and everything, but, continuing to keep in contact with everybody. Who's gonna be on the task force there. I do have a meeting set up with 2 of the heads of the, Lowell County Health Department next week. Planned this for a while. Hopefully it doesn't cancel, but I'm really excited to speak to them because they do, have a lot of counselors they work with, some of their peer support specialists, have some really great ideas. So I want to continue talking to them about everything there. And I know Michael will want to connect in terms of looking at different spaces for the office. I know we had that conversation last month, but yeah, so nothing additional to report right here at the moment. I'll continue keeping on top of everything there. And then I know that we discussed too last month about the precinct committee person for what is it, precinct 22, like we're in the area I live. We'll accept if you do want to appoint me to do that. That's perfectly fine for that. Otherwise, I got for now. I'll have a lot more next month, I'm sure.
All right, any questions for Matt? Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Next up, trustee Jeff Klein.
Yeah, I've got nothing to report this month. So,
All right. Any
Thank
questions for Jeff? All right, thank you, Jeff. Trustee Meta Mueller.
I don't have anything to report.
Thank you. Any
I'll
questions?
keep us
for Jeff?
good.
Hearing none. And then Margaret typically does our senior report, but she was unable to attend this evening, so we will move on to Clerk Terry Jones.
I had one FOIA, one still outstanding. That's all I got.
What are the FOIAs generally like? I'm just out of curiosity. What are they?
Requests for information, meeting minutes, recordings,
Just general information.
Yeah, just general information generally. I mean, there's a few residents, but a lot of commercial stuff or what I deem commercial is like news agencies or I don't know. It's doing reports,
I get it.
whatever. They're just like throwing stuff out there. And most of those, all the information's already online, so.
They're just asking Terry to do
I
their
just
job.
point it to the right direction.
Yeah, it's not uncommon for us to get to what we'll call like mass FOIAs, right? So they'll kind of put us in a list of 100 townships and send the same thing to all 100 townships in every city and municipality. So that's kind of, and like Terry said, oftentimes they'll say, "Oh, send me your salary schedule for 2024," which is already posted on our website.
Yeah.
But all right, any questions for Clerk Jones before we move on? All right, hearing none. My report, I'll keep it very simple. I had an opportunity to attend the senior luncheon, the holiday party in December. It was great to connect with the seniors for the last time for the year before reconvening, and I think it'll be March or April. They were all very excited to hear about the passport agency opportunity here at the township, as well as the handicap placard. So I anticipate that we're going to be getting some traffic in the ensuing months as a result. I do know, as you all know, we are the recipient for that mental health grant. One of our employees did have an opportunity to stop by one of the District 202 schools. That's going to be a target option potentially for the pilot of that program. And I will keep you guys posted on how those communications continue to go. Otherwise, I'll conclude my report there. Any questions before we adjourn for the evening? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All right, we'll do this by voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, abstentions. All right, meeting's concluded at 8:11 p.m. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your evening.
Not staying here until 11.
Thank you.
I was